Hello everyone, welcome back. So today's video is very different. So the original plan here was to do a joint race with Caedmon Cycling and Eric Barfell, all racing in Cat B actually for once, but I managed to mess up my recording, so I don't have any footage of myself, so I thought I'd mix it up and I'm going to commentate over Caedmon Cycling's races and Eric Barfell's race. So this should be quite a good one, I think. So I've got their stats down below if you want to check them out. Be sure to watch their channels as well. They both make good YouTube Zwift content, so I'll put the links down below. So yeah, let's have a look. So both of them out the gate very, very strongly. The aim for any category B or category A, any race on Zwift, is to stick with the front group as soon as possible. This is only category Bs at the moment, so no powerful cat As to push the group along at the beginning. So this is quite an interesting one. Caedmon Cycling, he's already got a very high heart rate there, 172, whereas Eric Barfell, his one's a bit lower at 166, but everyone has a different maximum heart rate, so there's not really much we can learn from that. Okay, so at the beginning here, let's see, Caedmon Cycling is pretty much just sitting in the middle of the pack here, and Eric is sort of sitting a bit further back actually. It's quite difficult to see where you are, or to see where individual people are actually. I was actually also in this race, but like I said, I managed to mess up my own recording, so I don't have any footage of myself, but yeah. Anyway, let's see. We're about a minute in. Both of them pushing around 250 to 300 watts here. Yeah, it's looking quite good so far. Both of them comfortably in the pack. This route is TikTok, which is on Tempest Fugit, which is a very flat route, so there'll be very little climbing in this one. So this one is all about pure power and making sure you stay in the draft here. Okay, we've skipped forward a bit to 2 minutes, and both of them are still just sitting in the draft, pretty happy at the moment, I think. Both of them have almost exactly the same heart rates at 177, 175. Both of them putting out about 200 watts still. Let's look at their numbers at the bottom. I've just taken this from Zwift Power. You can see that Eric has a pretty impressive sprint at 916 watts for 15 seconds, but then Caedmon Cycling has a much bigger 1 minute power at 526. So if these two were to go against each other, it'd be quite interesting to see which one would come out on top. The rest of their numbers, the 5 minute power and the 20 minute power, are both very similar. So it's actually, yeah, it's quite interesting. I don't know who's going to win this. I've not watched this race yet, so it should be quite good. I don't want to predict who will win, really. Okay, so let's skip forward a bit and see what's going to happen. Okay, here we are, 4 minutes in, and both of them are seemingly pretty comfortable at the moment. At the moment, Eric seems a bit more comfortable. His heart rate is lower, so hopefully he's doing all right. Both of them are following the same strategy here of sitting off the back. That's where you can maximize your draft. Oh no, Eric is dropping off the back here, so he'll probably need to put in a pretty big surge at this point to make sure he doesn't get dropped. Oh, it's me. This is probably where I got dropped as well. I'm this one on the left, and then yeah, I was in this race but got absolutely dropped, so yeah, not good at all, not good at all. But Eric has put in a big burst there and he's managed to stick on the back. It was a bit of a worry there. It looked like he could get dropped as well. Let's look at Caedmon Cycling. He's doing well. He's just sitting right at the back of the pack. What Eric's doing here is a bit risky. This is where you maximize your draft, but it's pretty hard to respond to attacks if you're just sitting at the back like this. If the group decides to surge, you really need to be on it to make sure you respond. Whereas if you do what Caedmon Cycling does and just sit in the middle of the pack, you don't get as much draft, but you are able to respond quicker to attacks. So it depends on what you want to do. Save lots of energy or just sit in the middle of the pack, really. It's a difficult choice sometimes. So yeah, you can see the same thing happening here. Eric is getting dropped off and the pack is really thinning out here, so he's got to put down a pretty big dig here to try and stick with them. And actually the same's happening to Caedmon Cycling, but he's a bit further ahead. So yeah, Eric, you need to really be careful here, otherwise something bad could happen. You could definitely get dropped. The group is horrible actually. It's really, really thin for some reason. Normally the packs stay a lot closer together than this, but on the flat races this does happen quite a lot. Yeah, Eric is really, really having to put in a lot of work there to stay with them. And you can see almost two groups have formed here if you look on the right hand side. So I think one of the guys in this smaller group here is going to have to do a really big push to make sure they don't get properly dropped. So yeah. You can see on the bottom, the graph for Eric, he's really having to dig in here to make sure he sticks with them. Whereas Caedmon Cycling is just staying comfortably in the group here. So yeah, not too bad at all. Maybe the smarter tactic here is from Caedmon Cycling, just sticking in the group, even though you don't get as much draft as Eric, because you can see how easy it is to get dropped off the back like that. So yeah, that was a difficult moment from Eric. You can see from the graph at the bottom, he really had to put a big dig in. Okay, so both of them their heart rates are ridiculous at this point. 186 for Caedmon Cycling and 183 for Eric Barfell. So yeah, all right, let's skip forward a bit and see what happens later. So here we are, 12 minutes and 45 seconds in. The pack here has really bunched up. You can see from earlier it was really thin and spread out, but now the pack is just completely together. So that means it's probably slowed down a bit. When it gets strung out, it means the people at the front are really pushing some megawatts, but now it seems everyone's taking a bit of time off. Both of them seem a lot more relaxed than they were earlier. Eric only putting out like 180, 200 watts, Caedmon Cycling doing about the same. Eric's heart rate seems to be much lower than Caedmon Cycling's. Maybe he's feeling a bit more comfortable at this point, but we will see later. Still sticking to the strategy of sitting right at the back there, high risk from Eric. Caedmon Cycling still sitting right in the middle of the pack, probably a more conservative strategy. Oh, you can see here, Eric really having to put in another little dig there just to make sure he doesn't get dropped off the back, but saving more watts. And Caedmon Cycling as well, he's putting in a bit of a good wattage boost there. He's doing like 400, 500 watts. I don't understand that because he's still pretty solidly in the group there. Eric, oh no, he's really getting off the back here. Come on, Eric, you can do it. Just try to dig in. Look at the pain on his face there. You can see the group is really split here. Come on, Eric, you can keep with them. This is actually quite fun watching other people suffering for once. Eric is almost, I think this might be it for Eric. He's gonna have to put in a real big dig to catch up with the group. It's so spread out now. I think that's because there was a slight raise there, so it's easier to make a break when there's a slight gradient. Okay, let's look on the left here with Caedmon Cycling. He's managed to stick with the front pack. He's done a good job there. So he's still pretty comfortable at the front, trying to stick with the main group, but he's still sitting in the draft. I mean, he looks comfortable, but his heart rate is like 192, so we don't know how comfortable he really is. Eric here has been dropped, but he really did give it a good go to try and stick with them. Look at the graph at the bottom. He really dug in deep, but he's on his own here, so not really much he can do unless another group comes up from behind and picks him up. That's probably the best idea, really. Save your energy in that group and then see what you can do at the end. But Caedmon Cycling has done a really good job here to try and stay with the front group. He is 24th at the moment, Eric is 42nd. So it's worth saying that both of these guys are very new to Cat B. Normally they would race in Cat C, I do believe. Eric has done a few Category B races. I think Caedmon Cycling has done the same. I'm not 100% sure about that. Be sure to check out their own channels as well, because they do a lot of their own Zwift commentary videos, so it'll be interesting to see what they say about this race themselves. Okay, so Caedmon Cycling still sticking with the main pack. He seems pretty comfortable at this point, just doing 150 watts, staying nicely in the draft there. Eric has found himself a little group here, just two of them. He's doing a bit of pulling here. Maybe sitting behind them. Try and save some energy. All right, 23 minutes in now. Caedmon Cycling is about 2 kilometers to go, and Eric has about 1.8 miles to go. So if anyone's really good at converting miles to kilometers, you might be able to understand what's going on here, but I certainly don't. Anyway, Caedmon Cycling is ahead on the road, and he's still with the front pack, but damn, is he pushing hard. His heart rate is 192. He's really working hard to stick with this group here. Eric is also in his own little smaller group behind, and I think he's probably not putting in as much effort at the moment as Caedmon Cycling. He's found his own little smaller group, which probably isn't going as hard. But, oh, what's happening with Caedmon Cycling here? He's having to put out like 400 watts for a moment. This group is splitting up quite a lot, actually. This could be a key moment here. 1.7 Ks to go for Caedmon Cycling, 400 watts. And a slight descent here, but the group is really starting to get strung out. He's used this aero boost, so let's see if he can stick with them here. This is gonna be a key moment here. Let's see if he can hold on. 1.5 Ks to go. Hopefully he can stick with them. That's the end of the aero boost now, so he's gonna have to really just dig in deep here. Look at that, 400, 300 watts, but he is really suffering. Look at that heart rate, 195. Come on, you can stick with them till the end. 1.3 Ks to go. The front guys here are really just, you know, turning it on. This is why BCAT is so hard. They're just putting some ridiculous wattages down. Oh, come on, you're 4 meters, 3 meters, 1 meter. He's just still managed to stay in the draft here. He's actually gonna, I think he might do it. 1K to go. Let's see if he can survive. Okay, let's have a quick look at Eric on the other side. He's still sticking with this group of 5. He's putting down a solid amount of watts too. This group is doing around 3 watts per kilogram. Back to Caedmon Cycling. This front pack seems to have eased off a bit. He's only doing 200 watts, but still sticking with them. But I think this might be it. Come on, you can do it. Put in a big dig. See if you can stick with them. 4 meters, 5 meters, and come on, you can do it. Just try to put one more dig in, then you can stay for like last 500 meters. Oh, come on, you can do it. Okay, he's back in the draft. This is key. If you can stay in the draft now, you should be able to stick with them for a sprint finish at the end. 3 meters, 4 meters, I think this might be it. Yeah, the draft is gone, and fair play. It was a solid effort trying to stick with that front pack till the end, but once you lose the draft there's not really much you can do. That front group is going to have a sprint finish, and yeah, not bad. Solid effort there from Caedmon Cycling. Managed to stick with the front group almost to the end. Not bad at all, so well done, good job. All right, let's jump back to Eric. So Eric is currently in 41st position, has 0.7 miles to go, which is about 1 kilometer. He's got a group of 5 here, so this might come down to just a sprint finish for the minor positions. So let's see how this goes. 182 heart rate, that's pretty high. The group seems to be taking pretty easy at around 200 watts at the moment. So let's see. Sitting at the back, this is a good strategy for this point. You don't really want to be working at the front before a sprint finish. Just sitting at the back in the draft, saving some energy is always a good idea. The key thing here is just to watch out if anyone goes for an early attack. 0.5 miles would be a really early attack. That's like 800 meters. That is a long ass sprint. So normally about 0.2, 0.3 is probably where someone's going to go for it. So keep an eye on the numbers on the right. Someone's doing 4.9 watts per kilogram there. So maybe they're about to launch one. It's hard to say. It's a bit confusing looking at miles when you're used to kilometers, to be honest. Okay, let's see what he can do here at the end. 180 heart rate, pretty damn high already. 200 watts, let's see what he's got in the bag. We know Eric's got a pretty big sprint with a 15-second power of 916 watts, so he should, oh, this is it, he's gone for it. Let's see, 600 watts, see if you can do it. Come on, let's see. 0.2 miles to go, this guy's gone off the front. Maybe he looks like he's got the sprint already. Let's see if Eric can hold on for 3rd or 2nd in this group. Go on, 700 watts, 184 heart rate, you can do it. Come on, there's just this guy in pink. This is gonna be close, come on. So you're in the draft, come on, just hold on to the end. 800 watts, that is a pretty solid sprint. Oh, he's taking the guy in green as well. The pink guy disappeared. Oh, can you do it? Almost, so close. That was pretty damn impressive, actually. That was a big sprint there at the end, but not quite enough to get the guy in pink who sort of disappeared, which is always annoying when that happens in Zwift. Anyway, so let's see the results. So Eric came in 42nd, and then Caedmon Cycling came in about 20th, I believe. So it was a pretty good race from both of these guys. Caedmon Cycling managed to stay in the draft, which was the key thing. Eric lost the draft, and then once you lose the draft of the front group, it's pretty much over if you want to contest the finish anyway. It's very rare for a group behind to work together well enough to catch a group in front. So yeah, the key moment was Caedmon Cycling managing to stick with the guys in front. Big shout out to Eric and to Caedmon Cycling for sending me their footage so I could do a commentary of it. I was just going to do my own race footage commentary, but I messed up my own video. So big shout out to them. So this sort of salvaged my morning, because otherwise I wouldn't have anything to make a video about. If anyone's interested in what happened in my race, I ended up getting dropped after about 5 kilometers, still recovering from COVID, not particularly fit at the moment. So anyway, be sure to follow Eric, be sure to follow Caedmon Cycling and myself. Links will be down in the description. You can follow our Instagrams as well. Normally we post what races we'll be doing. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, please be sure to subscribe. I'll be recording my own races hopefully again in the future sometime, if I can remember to click the record button. So yeah, all right. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one.